Still to come, he's a father, a husband, a former NFL player, and a pastor.
Because this is not a black thing, a white thing, a Hispanic thing, a United States thing, a police thing. This is a God thing.
This difficult day.
Miles McPherson is the senior pastor of the mega church, The Rock in San Diego. He's got a lot to say about the events of the last week. His hope for a racially divided nation when we come back. He's the son of an NYPD officer, the father of a San Diego police officer, and the senior pastor at a mega church in San Diego. Miles McPherson is a powerful voice on race and racism in America, and he's tackling the issue head on. He wrote this book called The Third Option, Hope for a Racially Divided Nation. Here's part of one of his sermons. Listen.
What I would like everybody to do here and in all the sites around the world, if you can just take a second, find someone who doesn't look like you. We do this at church all the time. Find someone who doesn't look like you. Here's what you're going to say. He wants you to say, what is your name? And they're going to tell you their name. And you're going to tell them, you are beautiful. And then give them a hug. Amen? Okay. Let's do it.
And Miles McPherson, hey, good morning to you. Someone I've known for almost 20 years. In fact, you know, my wife Paige and I, we went to your church when you were meeting at San Diego State. That was our first date back in 2003. So it's so good to see you, Miles. We live in a racially, yes, it has. We live in a racially divided nation. Don't need me to tell you that. Look at what's been on the news in the last week. How do we get past this us versus them mentality?
Well, us versus, yes, very good. Us versus them, that's the two choices that we're given in culture. It's either black versus white, or for or against the police, or for against immigrants. The third option is that we honor or value what we have in common, and we have more similarities than differences. I mean, we all bleed red, we all like to eat, we all like sleep. We're all made in the image of God, and we're all on a journey, and we all want justice. And what's encouraging to me, as hard as this is, my heart is being ripped out, but what is encouraging is seeing so many people say we want justice, and not only for George Floyd, but we want equality for all people in the United States.
Yeah, Miles, the Rock Church that you're a senior pastor of has well over 10,000 members that meet in person and online, at least before pandemic, right? Every single weekend. And people that watch the video, there's black people, there's white people, there's Asian people. Everybody is welcome. But you also say in your book that Sunday in America is one of the most segregated times. Why is that still?
Well, as you know, our church, it's not. We have a very diverse congregation that matches the diversity of San Diego, but most churches, over 95%, are segregated, where 80% of the congregants are of one ethnicity. And you know, let me get to some solutions, because it'll address one of your questions. One of the solutions is that we have to admit we have blind spots. A blind spot is not knowing what you don't know. And a lot of times we can say things that we think are well-meaning, but they're offensive. For example, saying, I don't see color. People say that trying and intending to build bridges, when in fact it's offensive to people who are of color, because what you're saying to them is that I don't see you, I don't see the burden that comes with your color, therefore I'm not going to address that burden. Having race consultations, because you see color, every time you speak to somebody, you're having a race conversation in your head. If two white people are talking together, they know that they're talking to white people, and they talk accordingly.
It's okay.
You talk to someone, it's okay. Well, it's in your head. So when you talk to somebody, you want to let them self-disclose to you who they are, instead of imposing on them what you assumed about them.
Right, it's okay. I'm hearing what you're saying, and it's okay to see the differences, right? Celebrate the difference, right? Pastor Miles, I just want to ask you this question. I know, not to cut that answer short, but Drew Brees, you know, has a huge presence in San Diego, former Charger, Super Bowl MVP quarterback. He wrote the foreword for your book, and he's apologized in the last 24 hours twice for comments that he made about kneeling during the national anthem. He was criticized big time from LeBron on down. Was that criticism fair?
Drew's comments could have been different. I mean, first let me say, I love Drew, known him for 20 years. He's a stand-up guy, and he made a mistake, obviously. He didn't express himself in a way that was consistent with what's going on. He has apologized, and I believe that Drew is going to make things right. He's going to do much more than just say he's sorry. He is going to make it right and be a model for people who make things right. But here's the thing: there's a guy standing in front of a house, and his house is burning, and he's trying to get the fire out by himself with a garden hose, and all the neighbors are just watching him. And he's trying to yell, help, 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 help. Yeah. And when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling, he was not defaming the flag. He was saying, the house is burning, can someone help? And everybody just tried to change the subject. And now we see what he was talking about. And I think Drew's comments indicated that he was not seeing that story. He will see it, he will make it right, and he's going to be a model for how to learn and then get involved in the process. And he's going to come to the house, burning house, with a big fire hose. I'm confident of that.
All right. The Rock Church, Pastor Miles McPherson, we appreciate you. We thank you for your time, and thank you for lending your powerful voice to this conversation. Hope to see you again soon. And by the way, Paige says hi.
Tell her I said hi. God bless you.
All right. God bless you too.